This feature reaches a pull request with a $0 software stack. The editor is open source. The coding agent is open source. The model runs through Ollama. The tests pass. And that still does not mean the workflow is free. A representative paid setup starts at $50 each month, Claude Pro at $20, Cursor Pro at $20, and Copilot Pro at $10. Those tools overlap, and free tiers exist. This is a familiar subscription bundle, not every developer's exact bill. This film uses a controlled reconstruction for the issue, edits, tests, trace, and pull request. It proves the workflow is coherent. Speed, token use, correction count, and first try quality remain outside that claim. The replacement has 6 layers. Qwen Code drives the work, Ollama serves the model, Zed is the editor, GitHub holds the repository and pull request, OpenTelemetry records the trace, AGENTS.md and Project Skills carry repository knowledge. On paper, that replaces the invoice. In practice, it runs into 3 walls: model access, local hardware, and integration. Qwen Code is the agent, not the model. Its official documentation shows tools, skills, sub-agents, review workflows, and local self-hosted providers. Ollama is the model runtime. Qwen connects to its OpenAI-compatible endpoint. Ollama's launch command now configures Claude Code, OpenCode, Codex, and other coding tools against local or cloud models. Qwen Code is configured separately, but the architecture is the same: one local model endpoint beneath the agent. For the editor, Zed keeps the open source claim clean. Most of its source is GPL version 3. It has Git integration, terminal threads, native diffs, and external agent paths. The editor is free. Any hosted model behind it is a separate bill. The reconstructed task is small enough to inspect and wide enough to touch the whole stack. Issue 184 adds per project budget alerts. The backend validates the limit. The front end shows what remains. Both layers need regression tests. Before code, the agent needs the house rules. AGENTS.md says where validation belongs, which commands prove the change, and how the pull request should explain the boundary. A project skill can add the reusable review procedure. The plan splits cleanly. One simulated subagent inspects backend validation. Another checks the front-end state and test expectations. They do not edit the same files. The parent agent owns the merge and the final verification. Backend first. The function accepts integer dollars, rejects a limit below 1, rejects negative spend, and never returns a negative remainder. The rule from agents.md appears in the exact line that enforces it. The front end mirrors the same boundary. A valid limit shows the remaining amount. An exhausted budget stops at 0, 0, negative, and decimal limits return one clear validation state. 5 more checks cover those states. This is where the paid tools often feel better. The review surface is already integrated. In the open stack, the agent must run both suites, read the diff, and compare the 2 boundaries deliberately. Automation is not review unless the workflow makes it so. After the correction, 5 backend checks and 5 front-end checks pass. 10 checks prove the feature contract. The harder question is how much model, memory, and review time you need to reach that state. OpenTelemetry makes the invisible loop inspectable. The top agent span contains child spans for reading the issue, loading instructions, editing both layers, running tests, and reviewing the diff. Prompt and tool content should stay off unless you explicitly accept the privacy risk. The final pull request contains the requirement, the boundary rule, the 4 change files, and both test commands. GitHub's free tier can host the repository and pull request. But GitHub is a proprietary service, so the complete stack is free to use, not literally all open source. Now the reversal. Qwen Code software is free, but its former hosted OAuth free tier ended on April 15th. You now bring a provider, a cloud plan, or a local model. The agent can be free, while the intelligence behind it is not. The smaller Qwen 3 coder model is a 19 GB download before runtime and context overhead. Ollama recommends at least 64,000 tokens of context for coding tools. The 480 billion parameter model needs at least 250 GB of memory locally. So what is genuinely free? The licenses, the local tools, the repository instructions, the trace format, and GitHub within its free quota. What is not free is the computer, memory, storage, electricity, setup time, maintenance, and any hosted model you need when local hardware runs out. Paid tools still win on integration. Cursor combines editor, agent, model access, autocomplete, cloud agents, and review surfaces. Copilot connects the editor to GitHub's agent and pull request workflow. Claude Code packages a strong managed model behind one terminal experience. The second paid advantage is capacity on demand. Hosted frontier models avoid the local memory ceiling, while commercial tools bundle autocomplete, background agents, policy controls, and polished code review. When the deadline costs more than the subscription, convenience becomes a reliability feature. I would switch the default lane, not delete the emergency lane. Use the OpenStack for private work, learning, routine features, and predictable subscription cost. Keep hosted or paid capacity for the repository that does not fit, the deadline that cannot slip, or the fix that must land once. The OpenStack can replace the subscription invoice. It cannot erase the cost of intelligence, integration, or review. That is the real $0 coding stack, not free work, but a choice about where the cost lives. The complete source ledger and 10-check fixture are included with this film. Build, ship, scale.